My beloved brothers and sisters, success is a word that many of us chase throughout our lives. From a young age, we are taught that success lies in academic achievement, financial stability, recognition, or material progress. But let me begin by asking a very simple question. What is success? And who decides what true success actually is? You see, many people strive their entire lives to earn degrees, build businesses, buy houses, or accumulate followers and fame. And while these things may appear as success in the worldly sense, they are not the ultimate form of success in the eyes of the Almighty. In fact, a person could have none of these yet be among the most successful in the sight of Allah. Let us take a moment to reflect on something we all desire in this world's success. From a young age, we are taught to aim high, to chase our dreams, to work hard for recognition, wealth, and status. In our schools, at our workplaces, even in our homes, we are often reminded of the worldly definition of success. But have you ever paused to ask yourself, is this really success? Does a person with a large house, expensive car, and millions in the bank automatically qualify as successful? What if they have all of that, but no peace in their heart, no tranquility in their soul, and no relationship with the one who gave them everything? Would we still call that success? True success is not measured by what you own, but by how close your heart is to the one who owns everything. Because what you own today can be taken away tomorrow. But the connection you build with Allah, the faith you nurture, the sincerity in your heart, that is what remains with you when the world turns away, when people forget you, when wealth disappears, and even when you enter your grave. That connection is what leads to true success, not only in this world, but also in the hereafter. We live in a time where people display their worldly achievements for all to see. A new job is posted online. A new car is shared on social media. Vacations, awards, celebrations, they are all part of the narrative of success. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating blessings. But when that becomes our only measure of success, we lose sight of something far greater. We start to believe that the one who has more is better. We start to believe that the one who struggles must be doing something wrong. But the truth is, some of the most beloved people to Allah have lived lives full of hardship and loss, yet their hearts were at peace because their relationship with their Creator was strong. Look at the stories of the prophets. Many of them were rejected, persecuted, and tested. They didn't live in luxury. They didn't have worldly power for most of their lives. Yet they were the most successful of all people because they submitted to Allah completely. They lived with purpose. They called others to goodness. They endured with patience. Their hearts were attached to their Creator, not to material things. And that is the definition of true success. When your heart is close to Allah, everything else falls into place. Even your failures turn into wisdom. Even your pain becomes a path to growth. Even your tears are counted and rewarded. When you build that connection with Allah, you begin to see things differently. You're no longer impressed by how much someone owns. You're impressed by how much someone prays, how kind they are, how much they forgive, how they treat their parents, how they help the needy. That becomes your standard of success. And this connection with Allah is not something exclusive. It's not reserved for scholars or the elite. It's open to everyone, young or old, rich or poor, male or female. It starts with a sincere heart. It begins when you realize that the world will never fill the void in your heart. It starts when you turn to Allah and say, I want to be close to you. Guide me, strengthen me, forgive me. That one conversation, that one whisper in sujood, that one tear that falls in the quiet of the night, it could be the beginning of your success. Many people think that being religious or close to Allah means abandoning all worldly goals, but that's not true. Islam teaches us to strive for excellence in both worlds. But the key is, don't let the dunya enter your heart. Let it stay in your hands. Use it wisely. Use it for good, but let your heart remain attached to Allah. Because the moment the dunya enters the heart, it begins to corrupt, it begins to blind, it begins to take you away from what really matters. But when your heart is with Allah, even if the dunya comes to you, you will use it for the right reasons and it will never control you. And sometimes Allah removes the dunya from someone's life to bring them closer to Him. He might take away wealth or health or a relationship just so you can wake up and realize that He is the only constant, the only one worth clinging to. These moments of loss are not punishments, they are invitations. They are chances to reconnect. They are reminders that success does not lie in the temporary, it lies in the eternal. That's why a poor person who sleeps peacefully after praying 2 rak'ahs at night might be more successful than a millionaire who lies awake at night, anxious, restless, unable to find peace. Because success is not about quantity, it's about quality. It's about the quality of your heart, your intentions, your worship, your character. Now let's reflect on a beautiful truth. When you walk towards Allah with sincerity, He opens doors you didn't even know existed. Imagine this. A person feels lost. They feel distant. Their past is full of mistakes. They don't know where to start. But then they raise their hands and say, "Oh Allah, I've messed up, but I want to come back. I want to be better. Help me." That one moment of sincerity can change everything. Allah doesn't expect you to be perfect. He expects you to try. And once you take that first step, He takes 10 towards you. That's His promise. You make one move, He opens doors from places you never imagined. Some people think, "I've done too much wrong. Allah won't want me back." But that's a whisper from shaitan. Never let your sins stop you from turning back to Allah, because He loves to forgive. He loves it when His servant returns. And the one who seeks forgiveness sincerely is more beloved to Allah than the one who never sinned and thought they were already righteous. Every sinner has a future. Every righteous person has a past. What matters is where your heart is today and where it wants to be tomorrow. And don't underestimate the power of small steps. One extra sajda, one page of Qur'an, one kind word, one fast, one moment of patience. These may seem small, but with sincerity they grow. They accumulate. They draw you closer. Allah sees your effort. Even if no one else notices, He does. He knows how hard it was for you to get up for Fajr. He knows the temptation you resisted. He knows the pain you hid while trusting Him. And He will reward you beyond measure. When a person begins walking towards Allah, the journey is not always easy. There will be challenges. People may mock you. Friends might distance themselves. Your desires will whisper, but stay firm, because what lies ahead is far greater. When Allah sees that you're serious, He strengthens your heart. He replaces bad company with better company. He makes the path easier, even if it's not always smooth. And you start to taste the sweetness of faith, the tranquility that no sin can ever give you. The best part? This journey is not dependent on age or circumstance. A teenager can begin, an elderly person can begin, a busy parent, a student, someone struggling at work, anyone can begin. All you need is sincerity. The door is always open. And once you experience that closeness to Allah, you'll never want to go back, because nothing else compares. Not wealth, not fame, not even love from people. The love of Allah, the calmness of sujood, the connection during recitation, these things nourish the soul in ways that the world never can. Many people are searching for purpose. They read books, attend seminars, chase goals, yet still feel empty. That's because the soul was created to worship its Creator. Without that connection, everything else feels hollow. But the moment you walk toward Allah, things begin to make sense. You find clarity, you find purpose. You start to understand why things happen. You begin to trust the process. Even the hard moments become bearable because you know you're not alone. And when you walk toward Allah, it's not only your spiritual life that improves, your character improves. You become more patient, more grateful, more forgiving, more generous. You become a source of goodness for others. Your relationships improve. Your decisions become wiser. Your heart becomes softer. You stop holding grudges. You start making dua even for those who hurt you. That is the beauty of walking toward Allah. It transforms every part of your life. even your outlook on success changes. You no longer envy the one with a bigger house or a better job. You envy the one who cries in tahajjud. You admire the one who serves their parents. You look up to the one who gives charity quietly, who controls their anger, who forgives others. Your entire standard shifts. Because now your heart beats with the remembrance of Allah, and that's all you need. If you're feeling stuck, if you're wondering how to turn your life around, the answer is simple. Take one step toward Allah. Just one. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be public. Just sincere. Start with one prayer, one ayah, one dua, and let that grow. Let that lead you to the next step and the next, until you find yourself in a place of peace, strength, and true success, the kind that stays with you in this life and carries you to the next. The world might measure success by numbers, but Allah measures it by effort, by sincerity, by intention, and that is something every single one of us is capable of. No matter your past, no matter your struggle, no matter your situation, the path to success begins the moment you decide to walk toward your Lord with a heart full of sincerity. Every day that we live, we face choices, decisions that shape our paths and affect not only our worldly lives, but our hereafter as well. In this journey of life, many people are looking for clarity. They want to know where they are headed. They seek guidance. They want to make the right decisions for their families, for their careers, for their deen, and for their personal development. But often they feel lost, they feel clouded, they feel like they're in darkness. And one of the most powerful ways to gain clarity, real clarity, is through worship, sincere and consistent worship. The more you purify your soul through acts of obedience to Allah, the clearer your vision becomes, both in matters of the world and in matters of the religion. There's a connection between your spiritual state and your worldly perception. When the heart is filled with the remembrance of Allah, it becomes like a polished mirror that reflects truth clearly. But when it is covered with sin, heedlessness, and distraction, it becomes stained. It becomes difficult to see right from wrong. You start to doubt the good. You become confused by the evil. And that's why worship is not just a duty, it's a cleansing of the heart. Salah is not only about movement, it's a connection that washes away spiritual rust. When you stand before your Lord and your heart is truly present, it's like light enters your chest and that light shows you the way forward. When you fast, you don't just stay away from food and drink. You are disciplining your soul, teaching it to be strong against temptation, purifying it from the dirt of desires. When you give charity, you're not just helping someone else, you're breaking the chains of greed that hold the heart captive. And when you recite the Qur'an, you're not just reading Arabic letters, you are engaging with the words of the Creator, words that heal, words that guide, words that inspire. People often ask, why can't I feel the sweetness of faith? Why am I so confused about my goals? Why do I feel so far from Allah even though I believe in Him? The answer may be found in the condition of the soul. When the soul is clogged with sin, with laziness in prayer, with ghafla, heedlessness, then it becomes blind. It might look, but it doesn't see. It might hear, but it doesn't listen. That is why Allah speaks about the heart so much in the Qur'an, because the heart is the center of perception. When the heart is pure, the person can distinguish right from wrong, truth from falsehood, clarity from confusion. Imagine a window covered in dust. No matter how beautiful the light outside, if the window is not clean, the light will never come through clearly. That's what happens to the heart when worship is abandoned. But the more we engage in sincere worship, the more we polish that glass, the more we engage with the Qur'an, with understanding, the more that light reaches us, and suddenly the world starts to make sense. You understand your purpose. You see things for what they truly are. You become less impressed by the glitter of the world and more connected to the values that please your Creator. Some people think worship is only for the elderly or for those who have left the world. But in reality, it is worship that gives you strength to live in this world correctly. It's worship that helps you make the right business decisions. It's worship that helps you choose the right spouse. It's worship that keeps you grounded when you succeed and helps you rise when you fail. Worship is not a burden, it's a fuel for the soul. When a person develops the habit of sincere, heartfelt worship, they find that their life becomes more meaningful. Decisions become easier because the heart is in the right place. Doubts are reduced because Allah places light in their path. They might still go through difficulties, but their soul remains firm. And this leads us to another important truth. When Allah is at the center of your life, no hardship can break you. If He is absent, even ease will destroy you. This is something that many people don't realize until it's too late. When Allah is your anchor, when He is your foundation, when He is the one you turn to first in every matter, then you will face the storms of life with strength. You will endure pain with dignity. You will rise from loss with hope. But when your life is centered around material success, popularity, or pleasure, then even the smallest trial can shatter you. It is not hardship that breaks a person. It is the absence of faith during hardship that causes a person to collapse. There are people who have been through illness, poverty, the loss of loved ones, and betrayal, yet their hearts are stronger than ever because they relied on Allah. And there are others who seem to have it all: wealth, health, family, status, but their hearts are empty, depressed, anxious, restless. Why? Because they left Allah out of the equation. They thought they could build a life without the one who gives life. When Allah is not the center of your life, you become vulnerable to every passing wave. People's opinions will shake you. The loss of wealth will break you. A delay in your plans will frustrate you. But when Allah is your center, nothing can shake you. You might feel pain, but it won't destroy you. You might cry, but you'll still stand. You might fall, but you'll rise again because you know that your Lord is with you. You know that He sees your struggle. You know that your patience is not wasted. And this knowledge becomes a source of strength that no worldly power can give. A person who lives with Allah at the center of their life finds meaning in everything. Even when they are tested, they understand that the test is a sign of Allah's love. They know that every difficulty carries a lesson, every delay carries wisdom, and every hardship carries reward. They trust the process because they trust the one who is in control of the process. Their reliance is not on people, not on circumstances, but on the Lord of the heavens and the earth. And when a person builds their life around Allah, it reflects in their character. They are more patient with people, they are more forgiving, they let go of grudges, they focus on self-improvement. They become a source of peace for others. Their worship is not limited to. The prayer matit flows into their behavior. Their business dealings become honest. Their speech becomes kind. Their eyes lower themselves from what is haram. Their ears turn away from gossip. Their hearts are filled with mercy. And this is the type of person who brings light into a dark world. But the one who distances themselves from Allah often finds their soul filled with restlessness. They might keep chasing the next thrill, the next purchase, the next distraction, but the emptiness remains. No matter how much they gain, it's never enough, because the soul was not created to be satisfied by the dunya. It was created to be nourished by the remembrance of its Lord. And when it is deprived of that nourishment, it becomes hollow. That's why we see people with fame, fortune, and followers, yet they are depressed, anxious, even suicidal, because they chased everything except the one who holds the keys to peace. That's why it's important to ask yourself regularly, what is at the center of my life? Is it Allah or is it something temporary? Because if it's temporary, then my peace will be temporary too. But if it's Allah, then I will find stability even in unstable times. I will find peace even in the midst of chaos. I will find clarity even when things are unclear. Sometimes people say, I want to come closer to Allah, but I'm too busy. I have so much going on. But the truth is, the more you have going on, the more you need Him. Don't delay your connection with Allah until your life gets easier. Your life gets easier when you connect with Allah. Don't wait until retirement or until the children grow up or until you make more money, because life is uncertain and guidance is not guaranteed. If you feel the desire to change, to grow, to improve, that is already a gift. Grab it, use it. Begin with small acts of worship. Build consistency and make Allah your number one priority. The beauty of Islam is that Allah rewards intention, even if you struggle, even if you fall short, as long as your intention is sincere and you are trying, you are winning. You are already on the path to success. Shaitan wants you to think you're not good enough, that you've sinned too much, that it's too late. But Allah says, do not despair of my mercy. He says, indeed, I forgive all sins. That's the mercy of our Lord. And that mercy is always available no matter what you've done, no matter how far you've strayed. When you begin to purify your soul through worship, you'll notice something incredible. Your prayers become moments of peace. Your Qur'an becomes a source of comfort. Your du'as become your private conversations with the most loving. Your life becomes centered. Your priorities align. You begin to see people differently. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing the unknown. Because you know that Allah is in control and you've handed your affairs to Him. How many people have exhausted themselves running after dunya only to realize that it was an endless race? The more they get, the more they want. The more they accumulate, the more empty they feel. Because the heart cannot be satisfied with material things. The heart was created to know its maker, and until it connects with its maker, it will continue to feel lost no matter how much is achieved. People often spend their youth chasing wealth, their middle age maintaining it, and their old age regretting how they spent their lives. And all the while, the real treasure was in front of them, yet they didn't pause to recognize it. The treasure was in a connection with the one who gives meaning to life, the one who gives peace to the heart, the one who controls everything they were chasing. We must understand the reality of the world. It is temporary. It is fleeting. Its glitter fades. Its strength weakens. Its beauty decays. No matter how attractive something appears in this life, it will not last. Even if you own the most beautiful house, one day it will crumble. Even if you drive the most expensive car, it will eventually rust. Even if you wear the finest clothes, they will wear out. Even if you achieve the highest status, people will one day forget your name. So why attach your heart to what will disappear? Why sell your hereafter for something that doesn't last? The wise person is the one who takes from this world what they need to earn the next world. They work hard, but not to please people, or rather to please Allah. They seek excellence, but not to impress others, rather to fulfill their amanah with sincerity. And when the heart is focused on Allah, everything else begins to fall into place. Allah puts barakah in their time, in their wealth, in their relationships. He grants them ease in the most unexpected places. And even when things don't go according to plan, their hearts remain content because they trust the plan of the one who knows what is best. Chasing the world leads to anxiety. There's always someone richer, always someone more famous, always someone ahead. And that comparison steals joy. It makes a person feel like they are never enough. But chasing Allah brings peace. You're not in competition with others. You're in a personal journey of self-improvement, of closeness to your Lord. And in this journey, every step counts. Even the smallest good deed is noticed. One of the traps of shaitan is to convince people that if they don't chase the world, they'll miss out. That if they focus too much on Deen, they'll fall behind in Dunya. But this is a lie. In fact, history shows that those who placed Allah first in their lives often lived the most fulfilled lives. They had less, but their hearts were rich. They were not always famous, but they were honored. They were not always wealthy, but they were content. And this is a far greater blessing than any amount of material wealth. True richness is not in what you own, it's in the state of your heart. If the heart is satisfied, then even a small home feels like a palace. But if the heart is greedy, even a mansion will feel empty. When you chase the Creator, you align your goals with your purpose. You begin to prioritize differently. You spend time where it matters. You invest in your akhirah. You treat people better because you know it pleases Allah. You guard your tongue because you fear accountability. You give charity because you trust that your wealth is in the hands of the one who multiplies. You forgive others not because they deserve it, but because you want Allah's forgiveness. And this transforms not only your character, but your entire experience of life. Many people think that Islam is about sacrifice and hardship, but in reality, it is the path to ease. It teaches you how to live with peace, how to deal with stress, how to manage your time, how to handle loss, how to raise your children, how to treat your parents, how to run your business, how to stay grounded when you succeed, and how to remain hopeful when you fall. It gives you balance. It connects you to something greater than yourself. And that connection is what brings true strength. But this strength can only come when you place your trust in Allah. And this leads us to a profound truth. You'll never lose anything by trusting Allah, but you lose everything when you lose that trust. Trusting Allah is not just about uttering words, it's a mindset. It's a way of life. It means that when things don't go your way, you still believe that He is guiding you. It means that when your dua is delayed, you still believe that He is protecting you. It means that when you are tested, you still believe that He has chosen you for something better. Trusting Allah doesn't mean life will be easy, but it means you'll never face it alone. A person who trusts Allah sleeps peacefully because they know that their matters are in safe hands. They don't panic over every difficulty. They don't fall apart at every delay. They plan, but they leave the outcome to Allah. They take the means, but they believe that the result is from Him. And this belief brings calmness, it brings confidence, it brings stability. But when a person loses trust in Allah, even the smallest problem becomes unbearable. They begin to question everything. They live in fear, in doubt, in despair. They feel like the world is against them. And even in times of ease, their hearts are restless because they no longer believe that Allah is in control. Some people think that trusting Allah means sitting back and doing nothing. But this is a misunderstanding. Trusting Allah means doing your best and then leaving the results to Him. The farmer plants the seed and trusts Allah to send the rain. The student studies and trusts Allah to open the mind. The parent raises their child and trusts Allah to guide them. The businessman works honestly and trusts Allah to provide. This balance between effort and trust is what brings success. We are not responsible for the results. We are responsible for our effort, our intentions, our sincerity. The rest is in the hands of the Most Wise. When you trust Allah, you begin to see life differently. Even the things that once worried you now become reminders of His mercy. A delay in your plan is not a punishment, it's protection. A door that closes is not rejection, it's redirection. A prayer that isn't answered the way you wanted is not denial, it's divine wisdom. And the more you experience this, the stronger your trust becomes. You begin to love Allah more because you see how perfectly He plans. You begin to rely on Him more because you've seen how many times He's rescued you. You begin to worship Him more because you feel His nearness in every moment. But trust doesn't develop overnight. It requires training the heart. It requires reflecting on the names of Allah Ar-Rahman, Ar-Razzaq, Al-Hakim, Al-Wakil. It requires remembering how many times He came through for you in the past. How many times you thought all was lost and He opened the door. How many times you cried alone and He gave you peace. How many times you were weak and He gave you strength. When you remember these blessings, your heart begins to trust more. And when you trust Allah, it reflects in your choices. You stay away from haram, even if it looks profitable, because you trust that what is halal will be enough. You hold your tongue even when provoked, because you trust that Allah will defend you. You remain patient in difficulty because you trust that Allah is preparing something better. You give generously because you trust that Allah will replace it. And this trust becomes your shield. It protects you from despair. It protects you from arrogance. It protects you from rushing into sin. It keeps your heart alive. Many people think that trusting Allah is only for times of hardship. But the truth is we must trust Him in times of ease as well. When we succeed, we must trust that it's from Him, not from our intelligence alone. When we are praised, we must trust that He is covering our faults. When we are wealthy, we must trust that it's a test, not just a blessing. And when we are healthy, we must trust that it is a responsibility, not just a luxury. Trusting Allah is not seasonal, it is constant. There will be times when shaitan whispers, trying to make you doubt. He'll say, if Allah loved you, why did this happen? If He's merciful, why the pain? If He's generous, why the loss? But don't listen to those whispers. Remind yourself that Allah's plan is bigger than your understanding. That what you see as a setback is often a setup for something better. That what you think is a loss is sometimes a gain in disguise. That what you call failure may be success in the sight of Allah. And when your trust in Allah is firm, you become unshakable. You become like a mountain tested by storms, but never moved. People around you notice your calmness. They wonder how you're so composed in difficult times. And it's because you've handed your affairs to the one who never makes mistakes, the one who never forgets, the one who is always near. This level of trust brings you closer to Allah in a way that no material possession can. It deepens your dua. It softens your heart. It increases your gratitude because you see His hand in everything. In every delay, in every blessing, in every hardship, in every ease. And this realization transforms your life. You stop fearing the future because you know who controls it. You stop regretting the past because you trust His wisdom. You live in the present with peace and purpose. Let us return to Him today, not tomorrow, not next month, not when we're older, right now. And let us walk the path of true successor path that leads not only to worldly peace, but eternal joy. May Allah grant us all a strong relationship with Him and make us successful in both this life and the next. Ameen.